Hi friends, welcome back. Today I am doing the review of this book, The Last Man Standing by Naveen Singh. First, let us get into the blurb. Uh, as you can see, it is a story that is set in the small town of Vilasnagar. The story starts with Professor Mehta calling his close aides, Aditya and Shalini, who were his you know, the students that he has mentored earlier and whom he trusts, and along with him, both of them, he also calls some of the local administration to tell them that there is something weird that is happening in Vilasnagar. How did he get to know about this? Is through a person called Karthik, who is a local grocery shop owner from Vilasnagar. What Karthik has observed recently in his town is that a lot of people, they have been behaving very strangely. So if someone is a local doctor who had like a good reputation, but suddenly his intelligence seems to have just got magnified so many times, like 10 times. So a very common medical practitioner of a small town seems to now have solution for every sort of disease and ailment, without them ever having traveled anywhere, or without attending any additional education, anything of that sort. Similarly, like a person who is interested in art suddenly seems to have information from around the world about every art collection that is happening, or in any major art events that are happening. So like that, very normal common people in the small town of Vilasnagar, they suddenly seem to behave like very strangely, and without their own knowledge that they have this super intelligence, but they are not very sure of what really is happening to them, why they started developing these superpowers. So Karthik actually approaches Professor Mehta, who is like in the he's like a very senior professor, and also doing a lot of good research in the area of psychology. So they didn't want to involve any of the local administration, or not let this information leak to the media, because then it will become like a huge mess. Karthik just tells the professor, and he secretly calls the people that he's aware of, and also his two students, and he tells them that if they can go to Vilasnagar and find like what is actually happening in that place, and how come people develop this super intelligence. Around with developing this super intelligence, there is also disadvantage, or the other side of things, like suddenly whoever have developed this super intelligence, they are like super hungry also, and they're like just hungry the whole day. But when they try to sort of gulp too much of food, unless they eat so much of food, they just feel uneasy. But once they eat it, they can't really digest, and they start vomiting, and it looks like the brain, or their intelligence has increased, but their overall body is very much suffering because of this phenomenon. So that is also like a specific symptom of all these people. So Aditya and Shalini, they have some background, like they were also having some romantic relationship in the past, and at this point they have broken up for certain reasons. So they initially have a bit of a reservations in having to work together again, but then since they Mehta a lot, they agree to that, and they go, and we'll have to see like in the coming up story what happens. Who exactly created this? Is this something supernatural, or is this like some sort of how did this even develop in such a sort of a very small town? I mean, very insignificant place, right? Like it's not some financial powerhouse in the country, or is it, it's not well known for anything specific. It's just a small town, Vilasnagar. But soon what we the reader will get to know is there are some unexpected deaths that happen, and that's when we come to know of what exactly happened, who caused this, and what is the reason behind that, and what was the actual intention behind this more like, is it a failed experiment? That is what is there inside these pages. So this is actually a debut novel by the author Naveen Singh. That is about the story. Now coming to the review, this is a debut of the author Naveen Singh. It's difficult to believe that it's a debut work, given the sort of genre the author picked up. It's a science fiction thriller, and the whole concept that the author has picked up, the just that super intelligence being developed in people. How did it happen? Is it a supernatural phenomena? Is it a science experiment, or is it like someone has intentionally created it? How did it come only to few people in this whole town? I mean, it's a small town, but still not everyone in the town is affected. And when there is that sort of extraordinary capabilities in humans, especially with their brain, with their intelligence, obviously you can expect that there are some set of people who would want to exploit it, use it, and probably use it against the rest of the human race. So that is how this whole story is about. And of course we have our protagonists Aditya and Shalini. Will they be able to find the reason? Will they be able to stop it? Will they be able to find the cause, and also how they can actually stop this before it can actually threaten the rest of the humankind? That is what the entire story is about. So I think for a debut it's a very risky thing to pick up a story like that, which is it has multiple angles, and then it has a science angle, but there is also a supernatural, like the reader will keep thinking, what is the reason? Is it like scientific, or is it something beyond a human thing? And once they know, it's also like very interesting to see how this progresses, because when something goes out of control, like intelligence or anything, and also the other side of, like whoever has this intelligence, the way they are also suffering, that all the energy, all the strength is taken by their brain, and their bodies seem to suffer physically. So will they be able to sustain? And the moment someone knows that this sort of superpower is there, how will they try to exploit it? And how can Aditya and Shalini stop it? Especially because they are outsiders. It's only like Karthik who is aware of it, and he wants the professor to help. But anytime there are some outsiders who are getting involved in this sort of situation, especially in small towns, people have trust issues. They are okay to welcome guests and visitors, but they wouldn't want someone coming from outside to take any decisions in their town and all of that. So that is also an interesting aspect. It's a short book. It's like less than 200 pages. I mean, when you compare it, like for the given the story, you would expect it's like a huge tome, but it's a short one. So what I really liked is the author's ability to take up that sort of topic, and then the sort of clarity he has, and how he tries to weave a story around that, science fiction story, which has like a huge canvas and a lot of repercussions, but also trying to keep everything like at a human level, that whatever however science progresses, where does the human aspect and human angle comes, and how humans can only just uh, destroy anything, but they are the ones who can also control things and bring them to a good shape. So that is the overall thing. If you're like a thriller fan, you will definitely like it. Of course, is everything like good about the book? Of course, there are few things which I feel could have been done better. Like the vocabulary is very good, but then at times it feels like the author is overusing them, like it's being used even at places where maybe it's not needed. see, the complete story, it will have its ups and downs, right? So there will be like normal scenes, and there will be like sequences which are like intense, and which have that action aspect, and which have the thrill aspect. So in those scenes, reader would expect, like, for the story to go up, and then probably in ordinary scenes to be just normal. Maybe that is like one thing that the author could have done different, is in a lot of places, it always feels like, there are some words and vocabulary that have been just injected into even normal scenes. If at all he only used it for, like, specific scenes, it would have been highlighted, those scenes would have been highlighted, and other scenes would have felt like, that balance. Also, I felt like somewhere one third into the story, a huge part of the mystery has been revealed. I thought it's pretty much early, that the reader is just getting into the story, and already the reader would like to keep guessing about, like, what will happen next, who is the reason for this, how did this even start, this sort of a super intelligence, it's not a normal thing, right? So how did this event start, and how is it going to end? What will be like the way how the protagonist can stop this? So that is what a reader would be keep guessing. I think the author should have kept it for a little longer. A huge amount of that mystery, the reason behind whatever is happening in Vilasnagar, it has been revealed in, like, probably the first at 60 pages or so, the author revealed, which was like a bit disappointing for me, like, probably he should have kept it to later. But overall, I think it's very decent thriller. I also read somewhere that probably this will be made into web series. So it will be very interesting how from book to screen, how it will be adapted, given that when you read something like this sort of concept, how you think, okay, in a sleepy town, these sort of uh, circumstances and these sort of situations arise, and how will it actually go into a screen adoption? How is all of this really showcased? Because there are places of violence, or a bit of extreme behavior by people and all. So I was intrigued to just imagining how it will be showcased on screen. That I'm really looking forward to. Overall, if you're a fan of thrillers, and you like these science fiction thrillers, and something really different sort of story, and different sort of concept and background, then definitely pick this up. I hope you will enjoy reading it.